In this context, yogic deeds refers to the spiritual paths or insights to be developed by someone with a Mahayana disposition, i.e., one who has great compassion encompassing all sentient beings but who is not necessarily yet a bodhisattva. The title of Candrakirti's commentary refers to the work as the 400 on the Yogic Deeds of Bodhisattvas. In this case, the one who practices the yogic deeds is clearly identified as a bodhisattva. The text is also said to be called the Yogic Deeds because it describes the deeds of a yogi or adept of the middle way. According to Gyel-tsap and Candrakirti, yogic describes the paths which these deeds constitute, while in the latter case yogic refers to the kind of person who practices them.
In Tibetan, the word for yoga is real, byor. According to an interpretation generally accepted by Tibetan scholars, the first syllable is part of the word real ma, meaning real or authentic. It is sometimes also taken to refer to the actual or fundamental mode of existence of phenomena. The second part, in this context, belongs to the phrase dbang, byor ba, gyur ba, to gain control. Thus, yoga may also be interpreted as gaining control over authentic paths or practices, which in this case refers both to paths necessary for the attainment of liberation by those who seek only personal freedom and to paths leading to highest enlightenment which must be practiced by those with a Mahayana disposition. In his commentary, Gyel-tsap points out that the 400 is a commentary to Nagarjuna's treatise on the middle way and not an independent text. This, he says, is evident from the fact that the usual expression of worship at the beginning has been omitted. Aryadeva's text is, however, not merely a commentary on Nagarjuna's work, presenting the two truths through refutation of others' assertions and establishment of the Madhyamika position. It also acts as a supplement. Nagarjuna's treatise on the middle way deals mainly with ultimate truth and concentrates on Buddhist philosophical systems, refuting primarily Vaibhasika and Sautrantika tenets. Aryadeva supplements this by also directing his attention to non-Buddhist systems. He further supplements Nagarjuna's text by explaining in the first half of the 400 the extensive paths associated with conventional truths. In doing so, he draws upon Nagarjuna's precious garland.
Candrakirti's supplement to the Treatise on the Middle Way performs the same function but approaches it in a different way. Candrakirti interprets Nagarjuna's text from a specifically Prasanjika Madhyamika standpoint and concentrates on refuting Siddhamatra and Svatantrika tenets. Like Nagarjuna, Aryadeva is accepted by all proponents of Madhyamika tenets as a model Madhyamika because theses unique to the Prasanjika position are not explicitly stated in his texts. Candrakirti's commentary on the 400 stanzas on the Yogic Deeds of Bodhisattvas, however, explains Aryadeva's text from the radical Prasanjika Madhyamika point of view that phenomena do not have intrinsic or objective existence of any kind but are entirely dependent on other factors. He emphasizes the use of consequences as the way to generate the view of the middle way in the opponent. Both Nagarjuna and Aryadeva urge those who want to understand reality to approach it and induce direct experience of it through philosophical inquiry and reasoning. Although such direct experience of reality cannot be communicated as it is, reality is not considered ineffable and unknowable, nor are language and conceptuality seen as hindrances preventing such an experience. On the contrary, they are seen as essential tools, since it is vital first to gain a sound intellectual understanding of the fundamental nature of things, their emptiness of true existence. The practitioner is thus engaged in removing misconceptions and becoming familiar with correct conceptions.
Since Nagarjuna's treatise on the middle way is concerned with ultimate truth and does not explicitly deal with the extensive paths practiced by bodhisattvas, the question of whether it is a Mahayana text arises. Nagarjuna establishes selflessness by adducing a multitude of reasons. A more limited approach is sufficient for practitioners who wish to rid themselves only of the obstructions preventing liberation. Mahayana practitioners who must eliminate obstructions to the perfect knowledge of all phenomena require an extremely powerful understanding of selflessness. This can only be gained by employing such an extensive and varied approach. In order to develop this powerful perception of reality, a vast accumulation of merit or positive energy is necessary. This is created through the kind of love, compassion, and altruistic intention cultivated by bodhisattvas. By describing, in the first 4 chapters of the 400, the four basic misconceptions which are responsible for our suffering and cyclic existence. Aryadeva prepares the student to develop the altruistic intention. We need to understand our own suffering clearly and recognize how actions based upon disturbing attitudes and emotions fetter us to the cycle of involuntary rebirths. For unless we feel a genuine distaste for this recurrent process ourselves, we will not have heartfelt compassion for others who constantly experience similar suffering, nor will we feel the love that wishes to ensure their happiness.
Although Aryadeva does not explicitly indicate how overcoming these four misconceptions which distort our perception of what is actually impermanent, suffering, unclean and selfless leads to the development of the aspiring altruistic intention, this progression is implicit, since he continues by discussing the qualities of a Buddha as well as the activities of a Bodhisattva. Gyel-tsap draws our attention to this progression toward the end of the second chapter. In the supplement, Candrakirti uses another device for the same purpose. Through the analogy of a bucket in a well or on a water wheel, he demonstrates how we and others move helplessly from one rebirth to another, buffeted by different forms of suffering. By thinking deeply about this process with regard to ourselves, compassion for others will also arise. There is, however, one important prerequisite if this is to happen, which is mentioned neither in the 400 nor in the supplement. We know from experience that the more lovable we find someone, the more unbearable it is to see them suffer. Therefore, unless other living beings seem close and dear to us, their suffering will not stimulate the urgent wish to help them. There are two traditional techniques specifically designed to develop that feeling of closeness to others, recognizing the drawbacks of selfishness and the great benefits of cherishing others by understanding that it is appropriate to do so for a great number of reasons, among which is our total dependence on them for survival. When this sense of closeness grows, it helps us to begin shifting the focus of attention in our life from self to others. The second technique involves recognizing the close connection between ourselves and others on the grounds that there is no living being who has not been our mother, father, brother, sister, son or daughter during a previous life. Candrakirti's commentary on the 400 emphasizes this fact.
Both the 400 and the supplement deal not only with ultimate truth, but also with conventional truths in the form of the paths a bodhisattva must practice to accumulate the merit which provides the vital foundation for a powerful insight into the nature of reality, capable of destroying the obstructions to knowledge of all phenomena. The supplement does this by discussing the first 5 perfections of giving, ethical discipline, patience, effort and concentration in the context of the bodhisattva grounds on which special facility in each of these is developed. Aryadeva's text, on the other hand, begins by discussing the misconceptions which someone with a Hinayana disposition must overcome in order to attain liberation and which must also be overcome by an aspiring bodhisattva. Although the perfections are not all discussed individually, the text examines bodhisattva conduct and how to overcome obstacles to it. Through their diverse approaches to Nagarjuna's text, the 400 and the supplement enrich our understanding of the conventional and ultimate. The 400, like the treatise on the Middle Way and many other great Indian basic or root texts, is written in an extremely terse style. The stanzas of the Tibetan version have 4 lines each consisting of 7 syllables. In many cases, some of these 7 syllables only serve to preserve the meter and do not affect the meaning. This characteristic terseness gives the texts a flexibility and ambiguity which permits many interpretations. Tibetan scholars compare their elasticity to that of a musk deer's skin, which can be stretched this way and that. Occidental scholars frequently find this ambiguity a source of frustration and search for a definitive meaning.